today's program. A hearty welcome to all the participants who have joined with us in this week-long webinar, national-wide webinar on faculty development on the topic, the impact of COVID-19 on the higher education and the society, organized by the Government First Grade College, Hoskote, which is located in the rural part of Bangalore. I am Prasanna Utpikar, Associate Professor from the Department of English. Before we get started, as all of you are quite familiar by now, yet it is my duty to repeat and remind you to be a little proactive so that there would be more interaction between the participants and the resource person. So if you have any questions, opinions, suggestions to be shared, please type it out in the chat box that you find in your control panel, because all of your audios are muted from the central control unit. Hence, you cannot ask directly any question, but you have got to type it out in the chat box. I'll be taking up those questions immediately after the resource person's talk is over, and half an hour is always kept for interactive session. I just want to check out whether the resource person has got connected with us.
I'm connected, madam.
Rajendra sir, are you online?
Yes.
Yes, that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Am I audible, madam?
Yes, yes, you are audible, sir.
Voice, pitch and all is okay?
Voice is also clear.
Okay.
Now, today's topic is on the role of information sources and effective internet searching for teachers in COVID-19. Information plays a vital role in the life of teachers, because teachers are the one who have got a platform from where they impart knowledge, share knowledge with the coming generation, with their students. There is a lot of development which has taken place in technology, but the sad thing is it is not getting connected with the students unless and until the teachers are aware of the information, the knowledge, the technical devices, supportive technical devices for the teachers are available. If they are not aware of this, they remain as barriers between the teachers and the students. They remain as barriers between the knowledge and the students. For example, with visually challenged students, lot of technical devices have been invented, yet these students are not aware of these technical support that are available for them. It is because the first thing what has to be done is that an awareness has to be brought among the teachers so that they will pass it on to the students. So with this knowledge, we thought that it would be very, very essential for us in this COVID-19 period, how teachers can make use or enable or empower themselves by using information technology, by getting equipped, knowing the best ways of effective internet searching. And we have Rajendra Babu from Tumkur University to share his knowledge to guide us in this. Now let me give a bird's view, because he's a great achiever, has achieved a lot. Let me give just the glimpses of his achievement. Dr. Rajendra Babu has 24 years of professional working experience in multinational companies, such as Hindustan Lever Research, GE Research, Brigade Corporation, Capco, Symphony Services, and Wipro Technologies. Sir is also an academician. Presently, he is working as a faculty in the Department of Information Studies and Research in Library and Information Science in Tumkur University. He is also working as coordinator for skill development cell in Tumkur University. He has served as a nodal officer in Rashtriya Uchchata Shikshan Abhiyan, RUSA for Tumkur University. He is nodal officer for NIF. He has done e-attestation officer for the state scholarship portal and many more portals he heads. He is an excellent communicator and a small-scale behavioral trainer as well. He has expertise in content research, summarizing key financial services, industry reports, bringing out domain technology alerts, newsletters, and so on. Sir is very well versed in database, sales and training, research and analysis, usage tracking, knowledge management, publishing, web-based information services, Six Sigma initiatives, marketing information, SharePoint portal, and Documenta. He has extensive experience in development and managing world-class information and knowledge centers, content research functions, Capco, Symphony Services Corporation, and Wipro Technologies. He has rendered his services. He has published 68 papers in national and international journals, conferences, symphonies, and colloquiums. He has written he has co-authored 4 books. He has been awarded, his paper had been awarded best paper for 6 of his publications. Presently, 3 full-time research scholars are working under his guidance. Sir, we extend a very hearty welcome to you, and over to you, sir, for this knowledge enrichment program.
Thank you, madam, for the wonderful introduction. I don't know how I will be able to do the justice for that. If you can please enable me the screen sharing.
Yes, we'll do it, sir. We'll do it.
So I thank the organizers, especially Government First Grade College, Hoskote, because I hail from Kola district and it's very near to my heart as well. So I'm basically from Srinivaspur. So now I'm working here since last 8 years. So we will be talking on the information sources and how these sources can be used for the benefit of the teachers to teach their subjects better. And also I'm also, everybody knows internet searching, but I'm going to give glimpses of how effectively you can search the internet so that, teachers can go back and find out their materials, quickly without wasting much time. And also, they can impart that searching knowledge, in among their students so that, students can be using the internet effectively. So that's the basic idea of doing this. And I thank Manjunath, and I thank the organizers, and I thank the principal and madam yourself for giving me this opportunity to share whatever little knowledge I have. So with that, let's move on to the, internet, information sources and effective internet searching. So this picture itself depicts the clear understanding of what it is. So it's an iceberg picture. So whatever is being shown is what we know. Whatever is not being shown is what is hidden, which we may not be, or we have not unearthed yet, or we have not discovered it yet. This is what the magnanimity of the information available in the world, and that's the reason I have used this picture. So during my presentation, I'm going to talk on a bit of history of scholarly communication or science communication, how it has been evolved and how the scholarly communication has taken place and how we have reached to this level today, and e-resources. So since I have done my PhD in open access sources, so I thought, why not I share open access sources and open sources or free sources for the use of, for the benefit of teachers, so that they can impart that knowledge onto their students and themselves. So especially during this COVID period, so it's almost been 2.5 months now, and we have been using these sources, and every publisher is allowing their sources free of cost for the benefit of users. Then we'll be talking about open access sources. Then I'll get into the internet and database search. So whatever internet sources are there, there are umpteen number of sources are there, but I'm going to touch upon few just to give the idea. Then it enables the users to explore themselves to take it up further. Then we'll conclude this session. So probably I might need 1 hour 10 minutes. Then we'll take up as many questions possible as the moderator allows me to take up. So now, scholarly communication. We all know the printing Johannes Gutenberg in the year 1439. So then the 600 before that, the paper has been invented. So since then, the first book published using this mobile types is Bible. So it started in 1439. During 1662, there were a lot of scientists. When they were discussing, they found a way to share their research. The earlier methods of sharing the research is a scientist meeting another scientist and discussing his research, or he writes a letter to somebody to discuss the research. There was no formal channels of connecting the scientists and connecting the research work. Now people were working in silos and they were not able to. There were a lot of duplications also was happening. So there were scientists like Robert Boyle and many other. We all know the caption called "Knowledge is Power." The caption is given by Sir Francis Bacon. So Robert Boyle, Sir Francis Bacon, and many other scientists have come together in the city of London, and they have decided, why not we start a formal channel of communication? That was the first time the first journal started. The first journal started in the year 1665. That was on a Monday. Today, 5th January 1665. The first journal started by a person called Denis de Salo in France. The journal name was Journal des Sçavans. That was the first journal. It was a 12-page quadro pamphlet. For example, if I fold A4 size sheet into 4, it will become 12-page quadro pamphlet. So that kind of a pamphlet, the first journal started. Even today, the journal is existing. So almost over 350 years, the journal is still existence. The second journal in the same year started on 6th March. By Henry Oldenburg in London, called Philosophical Transactions of Royal Society of London. So these two journals started in 1665. Even today, these journals are in existence. That was the first beginning of scholarly communication worldwide. So then people started writing their articles onto these journals, and these journals used to publish. Once the number of articles have been increased, the quality concept came into picture. That was started with a concept called peer review. All of us know what is peer review. Means I am writing an article, somebody in the similar field, working in the similar field, will validate and find out whether my article is valid or not and give a go ahead for the journal to publish. That is called peer review. So this process, there are a lot of single peer review, double peer review, single blind review, blind peer review, double blind peer review. There are many kinds of peer reviews available today. So it has started in 18th century, the practice of peer reviewing. So this is done majorly because of three reasons. The first reason is building the body of scientific literature. Then the body of scientific literature grows once the peer review, quality of peer review is more, so that each subject will be added with a new information. Then once the article is published, the reputation of the science increases. Science, research, scientist increases. Once it is increased, the individual's value also increases. Individual's capability also increases. Once individual increases, institute or university's reputation also increases. Because of these reasons, peer review has been introduced in the 18th century into the scholarly world. Then somewhere in 1950s, Eugene Garfield, all of us know, father of citation index, started on a citation index called Science Citation Index, Social Science Citation Index, and Arts and Humanities Index by the company called Institute for Scientific Information in the Philadelphia, United States of America, in the year 1950s. So that this metrics have started gauging the quality of the journal, quality of the article. That's when the citations came into picture, references came into picture, impact factor came into picture, and your bibliometrics, scientometrics, webometrics, altmetrics, all of things came into picture because of this citation index. Then somewhere in 1970s, so I said that two journals started by societies, in fact, non-profit organizations. Later in the 18th century, private players also started publishing journals. Today, we have more than 1 lakh journals in science itself because of the private players. A lot of private people came into picture and they started publishing their journals along with the society's publications. Somewhere in 1970s, libraries used to maintain a lot of journals with a limited budget because every library always have a limited budget. So limited budget was managed. Suddenly in 1970s, publishers have started increasing the price over the normal acceptable price. 20%, 30%, 100% increase of the price has led into the concept called serial crisis. Whereas there was journals, there were publishers, we libraries used to subsidize these journals with the available cost, but suddenly if the publisher increases the price, librarian doesn't know what journal to subscribe. And second reason for serial crisis is we had very limited subject earlier. Then the subject started growing. Multidisciplinary nature of subjects, interdisciplinary nature of subjects started growing, like biotechnology, biochemistry, bioscience, and many other interdisciplinary sciences, material sciences, all these nanosciences, nanotechnologies, these kind of subjects started growing, so that it has become a problem for the libraries to cater to the needs, varied needs of the customers also. These two reasons cumulatively gives rise to the concept called serial crisis, where they are not able to cater to the needs of the requirements of the users. Then suddenly in the year 1989 to 1994, those 5 years, the research has done for emergence of internet. Finally, in the 1993, Tim Berners-Lee has introduced the concept called internet. What we all have born before the internet era. So whatever we could guess of not possible is made possible by the internet today. Whatever is possible, even the discussion which we are having is also through internet. It has made the world possible for us. So internet has been started in 1994. So ever since then, the biggest technological innovation for the mankind is internet, for that matter. Then once the internet has emerged, the concept of information explosion also has started emerged. Earlier, we used to write a book, then get it published, in a print format. Today, everything starting with itself is, soft copy format. It's being emerged, and everything born digital or converted digital is what the concepts are. These two digital, documents are adding. For example, I have a mobile, I have a laptop, I have email account, I have one pen drive, I have one disk. All there, I have a photo. I have in all the 5 places I have a photo, or I have a document. I have all the, for example, I have in my pen drive, I have the same photo in my laptop, same photo in my mobile, everywhere the same photo. That itself is information overproduction or information pollution. This is causing the explosion. There is a huge concept called information doubling concept. Probably in the interest of time, I may not be able to explain that. If somebody asks a question, I'll be able to answer to that later. Then the concept of open access publishing started in 1995. As I said, serial crisis started in 1970s. During that period, the publishers have started increasing their prices. Many of the editors who are working on honorary jobs have resigned because of the price rise by the commercial publishers, because the research is done by a scientist funded by a government, and they are charging corporates for these journals, and many editors have resigned, and they have started their own journals. Those journals have taken the route of internet to become open access journals, whereas people started publishing their articles, their research in open platform. That has given rise to open access concept in the year 1995. So this is what the growth of internet, which I just wanted to show you a glimpse of that. 50, not able to see this, 57% of the world population has access to internet today. Probably in India, thanks to Jio, in the November 2016, Jio has been introduced, which has made world possible for us today. Earlier, if I were to buy 1 GB data, it used to cost me 250 rupees. Today, for 149 rupees, recharging, you are getting 1.5 GB data every day. So that's a magnanimity of internet. That's the reason world's population, we have 7.59 billion of people in the world today. 57% of the people have access to internet today. That's a magnanimity. So this, Wikipedia started in 2002. It is being published in 173 languages. English language itself has 57,34,000 articles today. One article may be ranging from 1 page to 700 pages, Wikipedia articles in English. So they have 57,34,000 pages of information. And with the emergence of internet, Wikipedia, it has killed Encyclopedia Britannica in print form. Since 2010, Encyclopedia Britannica is not being published because of the emergence of Wikipedia and the reliance on Wikipedia for the information access. Facebook, 2.23 billion people, as I said, 7.59 billion people are there in the world. So 2.23 billion people are Facebook users today. Such a magnanimity the use of. It is all because of internet. For every 3.22 people, one person has got Facebook access. I can say these people includes children who are not eligible to buy a mobile, or old people who are not capable of using a mobile. That too, Facebook on a mobile. Barring that, we have 3.22 people. Every person among 3.22 people have a Facebook account, and this is staggering, very alarming information, where every minute in YouTube 300 hours of video is being uploaded. I don't think, even if I see full time, I'll not be able to see all the videos in my lifetime which are there in YouTube. So 300 videos, or even my lecture, probably the Government First Aid College of Kotte may upload onto YouTube later, during some time later. So that itself, 300 hours of video is being uploaded. Today, I am completely into self-learning mode. Sometimes I may not be able to ask somebody else, or somebody else may not have time to help me. So if I go to YouTube and if I search, I can find any information, anything. If I don't know Excel, YouTube will give me the Excel sheet. If I don't know how to write a letter, YouTube will teach me how to write a letter. Everything is possible in YouTube. And this is more of a scholarly in nature. There are 162 million. 1 million is equal to 10 lakhs. 162 million people of number of active bloggers are available in the world today. We all know Blogspot and other things where people can blog their information. So 51% have access to internet using their mobile devices. I said 57% of the world population have access to internet, but here 51% of the people worldwide use internet using their mobile devices out of 57%. So that's a magnitude. And I'll be talking on Google search later in the later part of my discussion. So 3.5 billion searches are done by using a Google every day. So whatever, Google may not be the best search engine according to me. It's not a best search engine. There are better search engines than this, but most used search engine is Google, and this is 3.5 billion searches are done by people across the globe on Google. So with that basic introduction of magnanimity, I just wanted to show that the magnanimity of this information is, internet is this. Then the types of scholarly communication, let's come back to that. It can be letters to editors, or research notes, or articles, research articles, or conference proceeding articles, or white papers, all that, research articles, supplementary articles. For example, I have submitted one article, I have published one article. So similarly, I got some other inputs or some other updates on that article, which I call it as supplementary articles or review articles. So it is a dream of any researchers to write one review article, because if I want to write one review article, at least I should read 5,000 articles in that particular field, because it's a review, it's a trend report. I'm just summarizing the whole subject in one gamut of small article of 4 pages. In, for example, we have in library science, we have annual reviews, arist volumes, where if article is 4 pages, the references are 10 pages. So such a huge reputation you have for writing an article. Then we have open access publishing, similar, all these things commercial publishers also does, and open access publishers also does. I'll come to that later part of my discussion. Then within that open access publishing, we have two routes. One is gold route and one is green route. Green route is, I have published an article, I am having my own website, I am posting my article on the website, preprint of the article, or I have created a database of articles for my government first aid college, Hoskote. So everybody can come and add their articles into it. That is what green is. Gold route is, your college might start your own journal, which is free of cost. No costs are charged for everybody, and everybody can submit their articles, and you can do the same, quality check for publishing the same article in a journal. So then there are many products of scholarly communication which I'm giving more stress on. Since we are into e-world, since we are looking at e-resources, since we are sitting at home and try to find out the better information sources for teaching and research and learning, so e-concept has been prevalent today, and so as e-journals. Whatever journal is in print format, same journal is coming in online format also. Even if the journal is online format, there is no guarantee that there is a print format because of many reasons, many logistic reasons and environmental reasons. So print journals are not being published, as frequently as of e-journals. So these e-journals can be, electronic journals can be published by three kinds of players. One is society publications. For example, I am working for IEEE. So that is a society publication where scientists and research scholars submit their articles to be published in a society journal, where if I'm a member, I'll get a free of cost. If I'm not a member, I'll pay nominal cost to get access to that. Then comes commercial journals, commercial players like Elsevier, Taylor and Francis, Sage, Emerald. These people are publishing a lot of e-journals. Then comes open access journals. I'm sure all of you know Directory of Open Access Journals. Today it is more than 14,000 journals, which I'll show you the demo later. So open access journals, where a lot of free journals available for you in your field, for you to access without any cost barriers. So from today onwards, probably you may start using this more and more to help your studies and research, and also for your benefit of the students more and more. Then similarly, whatever books we had, print books, since for publishing an electronic book, you don't need to have a printing machine at all. So you can create Born Digital, or you can scan the book and upload it. So within that, there are three kinds of books. One is commercial books, as all of us know. Open access books, free of cost. I'll show you that website also for you to access and download as many books you want, free of cost. You can distribute those books. You can do whatever you want for the benefit of the users, or your students or yourself. Then Google eBooks. Google has got a new project, whereas 50,000 books have been converted into ebooks and given access to the people. So we'll discuss that also. I'll show you the demo of that also. Then the third kind of a books, nobody might be knowing this, interactive books. For example, I'm reading a book, so I'm making a notes in different note. So when I want to recall the notes, I may not find the book, or if I have a book, I may not find the notes. But these books, print format, off page of the information is printed, off page is blank, so that you can write whatever comments you have on the off page there itself. That is in the print format book. What about soft copy of the book? For example, I'm reading a book, I can click on something. Now I'm listening to an audio book, I can click on something, so it will note that, or it will save that, or it will remind me later. All that feature is called interactive ebooks. Then indexing and abstracting databases. These will be more useful to the librarians. We have Google Scholar. If I want to find out any scholarly information, I can find out who are accessing my articles, who are viewing my articles. All that information can be found here. PubMed. This is especially during the COVID period. This database is most used because it's a medical information database, free of cost for you. PubMed and Biomed Central, these two are the databases anybody can access. Biomed Central, though Springer has taken over, but still it is free access for anybody to access. Then the other scholarly products of information communication are, full text databases. For example, we have Shodh Ganga, which is a repository of national, thesis and dissertations. You can download, you can access, you can search, you can do whatever you want. Only for the scholarly activities, you can download thesis. Shodh Ganga 3 is similar to Shodh Ganga, but published theses are available in Shodh Ganga. But what is research in progress? If somebody has registered, submitted their synopsis, the synopsis and topics will be there in Shodh Ganga 3, so that anybody who wants to do research in similar area can check here to reduce the duplication, because research is all about doing new things. So if you want to reduce the duplication, or if you want to see who is already working on that, so that you can change your topic, this is the best place for you to find out. Research in progress database is Shodh Ganga 3. Please keep in mind, teachers, this is very important for you if you are a guide, or if you are, even if you are guiding a project for the 4th semester or final year students. You have to ask your students to go to this and find out that nobody else have done this work for you. Otherwise, you are duplicating the work and it's of no use. So Shodh Ganga 3 helps you to do that. Shodh Ganga is published thesis. You have to ask your students to go both the places and find out that your research is not duplicating with these two databases. That's why I'm stressing upon this point. Then comes US Patent Office, Japanese Patents Office, Indian Patents Office. Normally, patents are not seriously considered, but the most scholarly information is available in patents, because it is nascent, it is primary information. Nobody else have done that research. It's a new invention. They have got a patent for. So this database, US Patent is one of the best databases in the world. Japanese Patent Office. For example, Japanese Patents Office, if you have a Japanese text, don't worry. I'll show you another source, or ask me question about Google Translator. I'll show you how to translate any text into any text, or any text into, Chinese text into English, or Japanese text into Kannada. You can do that also. This is not complete, but 95% accuracy will be there, so that you can get the insights. Since you are working in the same area, you can get the insights on that. Then comes eShodh Sindhu, and I am sure Enlist, your college, or all the colleges would have taken it. More than 5,000 journals are available here. You can access, you can download many books, ebooks, and all that is available here. So there are eShodh Sindhu. It's a combination of UGC Infonet, Enlist, and Indest AICTE Consortium, which has got 15,000 journals. You can access. Each college, if they pay 5,000 rupees, they'll get access to this, Enlist, especially for the colleges. Then comes electronic thesis and dissertation databases. Other than Indian sources like Shodh Ganga and Shodh Ganga 3, there are many other open access thesis and dissertations, ProQuest thesis and dissertation. ProQuest Science is the best in the world for thesis and dissertation. Then Open Thesis, National Digital Library for technology, thesis and dissertations. These are all free. All of them are free, except some which are commercial publishers. All whatever I'm talking and whatever I'm going to show is free of cost for you, so that you can take a benefit out of that. And I'm going to share this PPT with the organizers. They can also share in turn, or this video recording itself will have both recording. Then we have a lot of reference databases. As a teachers or librarians, it's very important for us to know what's the difference between reference text and normal text, textbook and reference book. Textbook is a book which will help you to have a continuous reading, paragraph by paragraph, page by page, sentence to sentence. There will always be a connection between that. Whereas reference book is only when not to doubt you can consult. For example, dictionary. You don't know the word, or you don't know the synonym of a word, or you don't know the origin of a word, or or synonym of a word, or where it is been, which language it is first started in. That kind of information you can find in dictionaries along with the meaning and definitions. So you can, for time being, or for needed purpose, for a purposive reading, you need to have a dictionary. It's not a continuous reading material unless textbook. Encyclopedia is part of text and continuous as well as this one, because it gives complete details about a particular aspect or a particular topic on any area, so that you will get a continuous reading, scholarly read. Sometimes encyclopedia articles are written by Nobel laureates also. Then geographical sources, it can be gazetteer, it can be maps, it can be atlas, anything. So geographical, that also will help a lot. For example, Google Map is a geographical source for us. If you have a difficulty in finding address, you can share a location and it easily directs you to that place. So that's a reference source for me, both print as well as online. Then very important, very important, I'm mentioning here, is country or demographic information. For example, you're a political science teacher. If you want to know the demography of India, or if you want to know the political parties in India, or if you want to know the concentration of political parties in what region, every information. If you want to know the mortality rate, death rate, or you want to know the GDP of India, or railway stations in India, or train station, water stations in India, how much is the gas pipeline is in India, or what is the export materials to what countries, what regions, what is our flag, every information is given in CIA Fact Book. CIA is a Central Intelligence Agency, which is a security agency of America, not we. They are maintaining the database, worldwide database. I'll show you a demo of that for you to better get access, understanding of that. You will get any information. For example, we all say Narendra Modi is a global leader today, but this database will give you who are all the global leaders for today, what areas they are expertised in. All that information is given. Similar information is also given in EIU, Economic Intelligence Unit, in a group, but this is cost. CIA Fact Book is free of cost, but EIU, Economic Intelligence Group, is paid source, which we'll discuss later. So for the interest of business teachers and commerce teachers and all others who are dealing with market situation, Gartner, Data Monitor, KPMG, BCG, Ernst & Young reports are the best. One Gartner report might cost you $4,000 to $5,000, five-page Gartner report. For example, when I was working in Wipro, Azim Premji has asked me to find out a possibility of starting a software office in Johannesburg, South Africa. So then I did a research to find out how Johannesburg is supportive, how is good education or engineering, educated engineers, English speaking engineers, and how the demographies. For example, if I start, I'm not degrading any state here, but if I start a business in West Bengal or Kerala, normally people won't, because if small problem arises, immediately hartal starts, band starts. So, but whereas in Bangalore, it's not the case. People want to come to Bangalore because it's a tax sober, people are friendly, environmentally this is the best place, all that. South African possibility of starting an office in South Africa. So had I gone for Gartner report, I would have paid $5,000, whereas CIA Fact Book gave me complete details for me to find out this information. Then annual reports. How annual reports can be an information source. If you want to find out an organization details, this is the best place for you. Anybody can find any information. How many staff are there? How much is the budget for that? What are all the activities? What are all the publications? All the details are given here. Then Multex and Investex, especially for the business and commerce teachers. This is the best database for you to find out stock information, share information, complete business information can be found here. Along with, for example, if you go to Google, you can search any information, but there is a separate site called finance.google.com or finance.yahoo.com, where you can go and find out about complete details about Infosys. What's their stack range? What is the monthly stock fluctuation? What are all their market rates, market capitalization? Complete details can be found here, especially for the benefit of librarians and commerce teachers and business teachers. These databases will be useful. Then numerical and statistical databases. CIA is another one more numerical and statistical database, and Survey of India or Bureau of Indian Population. These are all the places we get a lot of statistical information. Government sources information is available here. So for us, this is very important. Audio-visual resources. For example, I have no time. For example, I'm driving in a traffic of Bangalore. So I have all my time spent in only driving, but I don't get a chance to read. Whereas if I insert an audiobook into my player, or if I play an audiobook from my pen drive, I can keep listening an audiobook and still driving. So bike facility, you can also give a pointers to that, saying that this is important, note this, all that underlines yellow, underlining, all that can be done using this audiovisual resources. Then comes EBSCO discovery tool. If I get a chance, I'll try to show JGET search engine, how to do a federated search engine for that. Federated means if you do one search, it will only retrieve one database results. But here there are many databases, but one search will search through all the databases and give you the results. Multiple database search and give you the result at one place. This is more of time-saving activity for you, so that it will be helpful for anybody. Then commercial journal platforms like Elsewhere, Science Direct, Springer Link, Emerald, Insight, these are all paid sources, but till the abstract level you can access this. You can find out what is that. Then you can always, I'll show you one more website. Even if you don't have a subscription also, you can download an article, which I'll show you the website. But that will be, you should be using only for academic and non-profit activities, because copyright restrictions are there. Then citation indexes, as I said, Web of Science, Scopus, open access citation indexing and citation databases, Google Scholar, CiteSeer, Academia, Mendeley. These are all academic social media networks, especially Academia, Mendeley, and ResearchGate are the social networking citation databases. Then this is Chemical Abstract Service, SciFinder. The advantage of SciFinder is for science people, for chemistry people, you can do search using formulae, or you can search using structure. For example, benzene, C6H6 is the structure. It's C, 6, you can input that structure and you will get results. JGate or FedGate, more than 32,000 journals, free of cost are available. Free journals are available for you to access, other than the subscribed sources, which we'll discuss. iScholar, please make a note of this, very important. This is a database of all the Indian journals. All the Indian journals at one place. Published by Informatics India Limited. It's a paid source, premium source, but one database, one place, all the Indian journals access. Because Indian journals are the most scattered journals, but here you can get access to all these journals. And I always promote this for the librarians as well as teachers, because at one shot, you can get access to all the Indian journals. There are some Indian biomedical journals are world's best journals. So they are also available here in this. Then meat of the subject is open access journals, where more than 14,000 journals are available. More than 20,000 books are available in the directory of open access books, which I'll show you the demo later. Then PLOS, Public Library of Science, which is a classic example of, as I said, there is a guy called Michael Hessen who has resigned as an editor for a commercial journal and started his own biomedical journals. There are 7 journals which he publishes, world's best top ranked journals. He publishes on an open access platform. So these are
Rajendra sir, no? Yeah. Rajendra sir, am I audible? Audible. Rajendra sir, kindly check your net connection. At our end, net connection is perfect. Kindly check your net connection. Rajendra sir, you are not audible. Call him and tell. Yes, some technical hitch has arisen, and very fast we are going to sort it out. It's a very useful, informative session, very much needed for the teachers. We are trying to connect the resource person over the phone. Shortly, he is going to set right his internet connections. Kindly bear with us, participants. It's a matter of few seconds. Yes, many participants are asking for the PPT of Dr. Rajendra Babu. Definitely, we'll take care of that part because he himself has said that he is going to share the PPT with us, and we will in turn send it to you. He has given a very good history of journals also. The first journal, e-journal, or the journal existing, not the e-journal, 1665, 5th January, with the date, was the first journal. And then the second journal was 6th March, 1965. And surprisingly, even today, those journals are being published. E-books, indexing, abstracting, databases, PubMed, Biomed, Google Scholar, Shodhganga, Shodhgangotri, the difference between those two, Google Translator, and whatnot. He has given a host of information to all of us, we the teachers, which would be very, very useful for us in our research work also. Yes, the technical hitch is getting solved. Dr. Rajendra Babu is with us from Tumkur University.
Madam, audio,
Yes.
audio.
Audio, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir,
please allow me to share my screen.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So, participants, sir is back with us. We will allow him to share the screen as well as the audio facility we are going to give. We are going to start. Thank you a lot for bearing with us in this problem. Yes, over to Rajendra, sir.
Okay. Sorry for the technology glitches. We are living in this. So in Net Library, when I download a book, subscribed by the library. So after 15 days, even if I fail to return the book, you don't need to worry about the penalties because it automatically goes back. When you are connected to internet, the book will go back. That's a kind of advantage we have. And we have Kindle readers, Snoop readers, back files, annual reviews, all that as a sources of information. Especially back files and annual reviews are the best sources of information, but little old in nature. Then, what are the sources which are very good accessing information is government documents, government sources, government websites, business databases, blog posts, very important sources, especially authors. For it's like a movie making kind of thing. At the end of the movie, you show no, that glimpses are very important for somebody. White papers, library opaques, patent documents, citation styles. Especially, we do a lot of research, but we are not good at projecting our research in better way. So if you know the citation styles better, it's helpful for us to project our research in a better style. Probably that itself is a 2-3 hours lecture or 1 hour one day workshop for us. So we'll check that. And plagiarism, please be very careful, especially in terms of this, because you are a teacher today and tomorrow you don't know what you will become, vice chancellor or a principal or even bigger than that. And if you do falter activities today, or your students does a falter activities today, it might end up paying a huge price for you at the end of later. So please be very clear on that and make sure that there are many free open source tools are available. If a question is being asked, I can show you how to check plagiarism using open source software like plagiachecker.com or duplichecker.com or wiper.com, free of cost. You yourself can check the document and find out the plagiarism. But the limit of words is there, but it doesn't stop us to do the things. Then translation tools. There are 1998 there were a lot of used to come to us. It was a huge difficulty for me to get it translated manually. Today, if I input the text, it will give me the corresponding language text for me to access. Such a kind of a tools are available, especially Google Translation. Even today, whatever typing I want to do, I go to Google input tools and just type in Kannada and paste it into Word format. So a lot of translation tools. Why I'm telling this is
Rajendra sir,
citation tools,
excuse me,
plagiarism and translation tools. Very important for you to check your students. Yeah. Yeah.
Sir, the audio is not clear.
Tell me.
Audio is not clear.
Audio is not clear. Later, I'll show you the demo of that.
Connectivity problem, sir. Kindly set it right. You are not audible.
Okay, 1 minute, madam. Is it okay now?
Now it's clear. So you can continue.
Yeah, is it okay now?
Yeah. It's clear.
Then, so bibliographic databases like JGET+, BIOSYS, Biological Sciences, Web of Science, Scopus, SciFinder, Medline, and institute repositories are harvesters. Google Scholar, Academia, Mendeley, all these things I told as a social networking, academic social networking sites. So I'll discuss that later. So coming to open access. So I'm not getting into this, the nitty-gritties. Okay, this is directory of open access journals for us, where you can go to, I'll take you directly onto the internet and show you how to access that. Is my screen shared, madam?
Yes, it's visible, sir.
Okay.
Very clear.
So, is it shown now?
No. Yes. Now we can see it.
Okay. For example. So I am going to Google. Instead, either I can type DOAJ here, or directly in the HTTP I can say doaj.org. It's an organization website, funded by Lund University, Sweden. This is a database of open access journals worldwide. You can see in the right side corner, 14,674 free journals are available today for you to access. As I said, the first journal started in 1665. In 350 years, it has grown to 1 lakh. But this open access started in 1995. Within 20 to 14,674 journals, and there are 49,24,000 plus articles for you to download. And the content is coming from 133 countries. You can see here, 133 countries. So you can either search the database you can perform search here. You can do a subject search, journal search, publisher search, journal license search, or browse the subjects. For example, as we have discussed, madam was coming from English. I can see language, any information is available here. Or I can see political science information. By just clicking here, I'll get all the subjects under political science. There are many subjects available here. Or I can say music and music. Within that, literature and music, or musical instrumentation or instructions. Or I can see general works. For example, newspapers itself. How many journals are there? There are no journals available here. For example, education. If I go to education in general, I have 92,334 articles are available. If I click on the journals here, it will show me the list of journals. There are 550 journals free of cost available for you in education science. For example, I can see the list of journals here comes with all the languages. As I said, 133 countries are here. So if I click on that, it will give me the complete details.
So audio is not clear. What you said was not visible. And some scratches we see on the screen.
Somebody else is doing it, madam.
Somebody else.
Yeah. Some
participants,
I guess.
Kindly don't do this. This is our request. Screen sharing facility is given only to the resource person. Kindly don't scribble.
Is it okay? My audio is okay now?
Yes, now it's clear.
So you can find articles from 2013 to today. Even if I want to go to 2013, I can go multiple roles and functions of English in South Korea. A journal published from Iran has an article on South Korea. If I click on this, I'll get access to this, to the abstract level. I can see the abstract of the article. If I want to read the full text, I can click on the full text to see the complete full text of the article here. So you can download this article, you can save this article. So it is completely possible. See the full text of the article. Iranian language, you can download and convert it into the language of your choice whenever you want. So this is the advantage of DOAJ. So, and here, as I said, 15,000 journals available free of cost. For example, if I want to see, just I can search also without browsing. I can do a search on one keyword. Whatever keyword I want, I can search here and find out what articles I want. I can search subject-wise, or I can search journal-wise, or general search also is possible here in the directory. You can see it here itself in the main page. You can perform a search and download. You can search here. Okay. Literature is the subject which I have given. Let's see how many articles are available here. There are 4,09,061 articles are available for you to download in the subject of literature. Broad search I have given. So this is the advantage of open access, and no copyright restrictions. You can download, you can use it for the lawful activities, not unlawful activities, because High Court of India, Delhi High Court has given a verdict saying that, you can download even a commercial article and use it for the teaching, academic and non-profit research purpose. So there's no copyright restrictions applies to that, but use your, justification whenever you want to use this. This is, directory of open access journals. Then again, I go to Google, or I search directory of open access books. So I can say DOA books also, doabooks.org. So this is a database of books where I can download thousands of books free of cost. So for example, I say literature. Again here, if I say literature, let me see how many books it will retrieve. So there are 1549 books are available on literature itself. So you can read this. These books are under the license of Creative Commons, means publisher, author himself has uploaded it, and he's enabled access for everybody without any restrictions. There are different things which are part of Creative Commons. Let's not get into that. So Diaspora Law and Literature. So we have this book published in 2017. If I want to see abstract, if I click on abstract, and there, if I go to book, I'll have a chance to read the complete books. So this is what Google Books for you, or sorry, Directory of Open Access Books for you. Then books.google.com. Books.google.com, which is an initiative by Google, where it provides minimum 50,000 books for everybody to access. So I say literature again here. Let me see how many results will come up. There are many results, but I don't believe so many 33 crores of results would be there in this book. But if I click on like Cambridge Guide to Literature in English, this book will open. The advantage with Google Books and open access books is you can download open access books onto your desktop, onto your system, whereas here in Google Books you will not be able to download, or you will not be able to print. You can only read online because of the copyright restrictions imposed by the publisher. But the advantage with this is whatever keyword you have searched, it highlights. So wherever the keyword is there, it will get highlighted. You can see here, yellow highlighter. So that will be the pointer and helps you to read it better comparatively Directory of Open Access. But both of them are free of cost for you. You don't need to, you don't have to pay for this. So these are all two free of cost books. But Google Books, you can you cannot download, you cannot print. But Directory of Open Access books, you can download, you can print, you can do as many things, you can share, all that is possible. But here you can share the link by copying the link, you can share with others for this. This is what Google Books is. Then I'll come back to my presentation, Directory of Open Access books. So then, so there are many other sites which gives you free of cost books. One book is, similar sites is, one is this database where Library Genesis or Library Gen, which has got 3 million ebooks, especially fictions and non-fictions, 20 million research papers, 100 TB of comics, terabytes of comics, magazines, paintings. All the books are free of cost. It will be helpful for the teachers to access these. And another one is PDF Drive, where you will get 17,45,000 ebooks. Ebooks are free of cost. PDF Drive. Then Base is the database where you get 112 million items are available. Here 5.63 million means 5.63 means 56 lakhs of theses are available here. It's a good source for thesis and dissertation database. And this is NTLDD, National Digital Library of India, where you can get 6.8 million items in 70 languages across India. It's an initiative by the MHRD. What I'm showing is free of cost for you. Nothing paid sources I'm showing you in the benefit of, for the interest of teachers. There are 2 lakhs audiobooks are also available in this database.
Sir, PPT is not shared. Rajendra sir, PPT is not shared. Yours here on the screen. We are still in that Google, what you had shared.
Here, madam, now?
Now it's
Okay. So National Library of India, where you get 5,98,161 items in the, 6.8 million items in 70 languages are available. More than 60 types of resources, books, journals, articles, proceedings, reports, to access. Then Shodhganga, I told you, this is a database of thesis and dissertations. There are more than 76,000, 10,50,000 thesis and dissertations are available for free of cost for you to search here. Institution-wise, department-wise, or university-wise, you can search. So there are many other sources of electronic thesis and dissertations. DOT is a database where you get 7,05,000 thesis and dissertations here of all the 28 European countries. NDLTD, National Digital Library of Thesis and Dissertations, and 4.5 million thesis and dissertations are available here. Open access OECD thesis and dissertation, 3.34 millions of theses available worldwide for you, not Indian. Indian is Shodhganga. Then Google Scholar. So this is a database which will give you a lot of details. I just wanted to show you the Google database here. So, is it seen, madam? Google Scholar?
Yes, yes, yes.
So, for example, I search an article by Rajendra Babu H, my own name. So, if I search Rajendra Babu, whatever I have written articles are going to be published. For example, this is one article which I published in 2009. If I click on this, this will directly take me to the publisher website and download, because it's an open access journal. So I'll come back to this. See, all of us would have seen this page. Here, why you can search patents, or you can exclude patents. You can year-wise you can search. There are many other symbols which are shown here. None of us know what it is. So if I take my cursor here, so since I am logged in as a Rajendra Babu here, it shows my picture. So if I click here, this article is going to be saved in my library for me to access it later. So next one is, as I said, for all the authors and the teachers and students, if I click on the inverted commas here, it will show me the citation styles. For example, MLA, Modern Language Association. Most of the languages are using this format. Or APA, American Psychological Association. Most of the social sciences uses this. Chicago style, most of the sciences uses this. Harvard, Vancouver, you can upload, download articles. Just by copying this and pasting it as a reference source will be very helpful for you, instead of you remembering any citation styles or citation guides. That's the advantage of with this one. Then this is very useful. I have written an article in 2009, and there are 39 people have cited my article. So if I want to see that, I just click on that. So it will show me, fortunately all are foreign authors for me, that's a great thing. So 37 articles which are using my article to write their articles, details are here. From there, it is again shows each article, other citations. This gives the link and linkage and the trends direction for you to find out what area the subject is moving towards, or who is working in my area, or what are all the similar areas my peers are working. This information will be known by this. Then you can find related articles also here. Coming back to this, I can say it is science to the scholarly communication only was my research topic. So I moved from related articles. If I click on that, what are all the articles not cited but related to my concept of my article? Then how many versions I have, and if I want to view this article not as a PDF, but I want to view it as HTML, it is possible for me. That's the advantage of this Google Scholar. And second one is, if I take into my profile, the complete details, how my research is moving towards, what are all the areas my research is, and what are all the citations I'm getting for my research. All that information is shown here, and you can find out what year I've got more citations for each article, that is possible here. So these are the major things possible for you to access from Scholar, Google Scholar. Then I'll move on to CIA fact book, because I feel it's very important for all the teachers to find out this. So the World Fact Book is also called as CIA Fact Book. And CIA.gov Fact Book it is. It is an American database maintained by American SEALs. So this is the major website of CIA Fact Book. If I go here and select my country, since I am from India, I'll select India only. India. So it will open the page for India. See, it shows the flag. If you click on the flag, it will show you why the flag is designed like this, why the there are Ashok Chakra is there, why the 24 spokes within that, what does it signify, and it will give me the broad picture of where India is located, who are all border sharing countries, all that. This is the details. If I click on introduction, either click here or this plus, it will give me the full information. Where the India has been originated from, who was the first president, first prime minister, what was the Gandhi movement, everything you can see here. Or if you want to see the geography of this, you can see, geographical coordinators, then location, which location, altitude, it is available, land boundaries. We are sharing 13,888 kilometers with bordering countries like Bangladesh, how many kilometers, Bhutan, Burma, China, Nepal, Pakistan, how many kilometers we are sharing borders with each country. Or how many kilometers of coastline we have. We have the biggest is coastline for us. Then, maritime claims, territorial, sea, then climate. What climate is in India? Mostly temperate and humid, semi-arid region. Terrain, evaluation, natural resources. Coal is the biggest natural resources for us in India. And land use, how much land is used for agriculture purpose, forest and other, every detail you get here. What are all the natural hazards for India? And madam, how much time I have?
Time.
Okay.
Another 15 minutes.
Okay, madam. So then, now environmental issues, agreements, whom have we signed pacts with, people and ethnic society, how many people we have, 132 billion people we have. This is the most updated 2020 estimate. This data is being taken from Survey of India, but survey has been done in 2011. But they always estimate. Any commerce teachers or any other meteorological teachers know how to estimate and all that. Mathematics teachers, they'll be knowing this. And nationality, ethnic groups, what languages we speak, 43% of Indians speak Hindi, and how many people speak Kannada? 3.6% speaks Kannada among the overall Indian population. Age structure, how many people we have? This is the biggest asset for us in India. Working groups, all that information is available. Sex ratio, what is the infectious diseases we have. Educational expenditure, 3.8% of GDP according to 2013 estimate we have done it. Government, federal government, what kind of a government it is. Any information you want, you will get it here. Economy, energy, military. For example, what are the energy sectors we have? Like population without electricity. Even today, 16 crores of people, 17 crores of people have no. Or how many 84% of Indian population, total population got electricity. You name it, you get the information here. Or we can say transnational issues. What are all the disputes we have with our borders? So what are all the drugs issues? Every information you get it here. Using this, I used to serve my customers much better. And this is one of the best source for teachers, student, educator, librarian, anybody for you to access this. So going back to my PPT, I'll share again. You're able to see this, madam? Google Scholar page. CIA fact book is what I have shown. And so what are all the benefits? I'm going to skip this. This is very important. Are you able to see this, madam? Internet Archive?
Yes, yes.
This is the best website where you can get access to old information. For example, I am Tumkur University. My website is most updated. tumkuruniversity.ac.in is the most updated website. For example, 10 years back, I want to see how my website was looking. I'll tell you one example. I have Airtel connection, 15 years old Airtel connection I have. When I bought the connection, they said lifetime free prepaid, means incoming calls free. But if I am not recharging now, my connection is getting reduced. So if I go to Airtel and complain, they say refer what plan you have. But that plan is not existence today. So if I go to Airtel using this Wayback Machine, Airtel website, on that day, that policy will be there. This website will be saved that old information. This is a US initiative. It's a American database, existing since 1996. You go there, you get the old information, and that policy you can use it for your benefits. If whatever old information you want to find out, you can go to Wayback Machine and you can find information which is not existence today. So that's the advantage of this website. You can use it. Then Electronic Library of Mathematics. Only one website is there.
The PPT is not working here.
It's not working.
No.
I'm sharing. Okay, madam. Electronic.
Yes.
So this website is exclusively for mathematics, and mathematics. This has got journals, proceedings, monographs, and classical works. Works by Ramanujan, works by many mathematicians worldwide. That information will be available here. Then Social Science Research Network, SSRN, where all the social science network information is available for anybody to access and download. Then coming to ResearchGate, in the interest of time, I'm going to skip first. But Nobel Prize Internet Archive. Nobel Prize started in 1901. Since then, whoever has got a Nobel Prize information, they can go to this website and find out the complete details about that. Then World Bank Open Data, whatever data uses by World Bank for creating its report, the data is available for you to access here. Then IMF e-library, you can download the complete IMF International Monetary Fund database, complete background database information you can download from this place, which is free of cost. Then this is very interesting for science and technology teachers. NASA technical reports. NASA is a very, like our ISRO, is very confidential organization. It saves a lot of confidential information. But here, there are two databases available for in this NTRS. The one database is from 1915 to 1958. All NASA reports and citations are available free of cost for you. Then from 1958 onwards, there is one more database maintained where you can get access to all that information. You might recall recently some software engineer has got a recognition from NASA saying that they have found where that orbit which India has sent to Mars was available. So, but that was false information. But all that reports can be accessed from NASA technical report database for science and technology teachers and physics teachers. This will be very useful. So this is most of a biological in nature. For example, we all know if there is a snake, what's the basic characteristic of a snake? It immediately raises its hood and make a hiss sound. If it is a dog, it barks. If it is a cat, it makes a different noise. So that's a trait, basic trait of a human being or anybody. So here, this database, traits database, eol.org is the database. If you go here, world's complete species with their traits. We don't know what a mongoose does, or we don't know what a tiger does. Basic nature of a tiger, basic trait of a tiger. So that's what this database will give you, traits database. Now, similar to whatever we know, if it is a cow, how it makes a noise, what's the basic nature of cow. But here, many database, world's species are available here for you to find out what's the trait of this. For example, it can give you body length and what is the gestation period. Means human beings have 9 months of gestation period. docs might have a different period. Complete details will be available here for anybody to get access to this. So it is measurements and other information. And this is another global biodiversity information database where it has got 1.64 million species, data sets and occurrences, all that, where it is sharing biodiversity data for your reuse. For example, if I go to, it is semi-arid tropical region where it is little bit heat is there and not trees are not growing very tall, and you'll not get evergreen trees here, but you will get shrubs and herbs here. So that's a biodiversity of our area. We want to see what's the biodiversity of African area, what's the biodiversity of Mangalore area. That all that is information is available here. You can see the pointers here. You can find out from this. So this is very interesting, very interesting. So we know we have, when we were children, sparrows were the very common species birds we used to see. But today we are not able to see sparrows at all. So because it's extinction, it's in existing extinction mode. So similarly, this website will give you the species which are threatened or extinction, in the verge of extinction. Like dinosaur, it has extinction from our earth. So similarly, this data will give you what are all the species which are in the verge of extinction, so that you can support or you can benefit. Now, if COVID continues like this for another 100 years, I think human beings also will be on the verge of extinction, I guess. So this database will give you that. I'm giving you broad perspective. I may not even touch 0.001% of the sources, but I'm giving you the clue as to how these can be moved towards. This is very interesting. This is a database. It's a database breaking paywalls. Even if you need not to pay copyrights, you can download the article. This is developed by a neuroscientist called Alexandra Elbakyan. She's just 29 years old scientist today. She's on absconding because all the commercial publishers are, have raised a suit on her. She's on, on running mode. Though she is a Columbia University research scholar, but she's on absconding. So where you go here, you enter the URL. For example, download the article by using URL, PubMed ID, or DOI, Document Object Identifier, which is a Aadhaar card for every article in the internet. You can download this article. This is how this used. I can show you a demo also of that article here. So Sci-Hub, are you able to see my screen, madam?
Yes. No, sir.
This screen?
Screen, no.
Blank screen.
Google we can see.
Yeah. Okay.
Are you sharing the Google? Science Hub?
Sharing this Sci-Hub.
Science Hub.
Sci-Hub, right?
Yes, yes.
So here, if I go and give a URL, it will download the article whichever I want. For example, I'll show you one small demo if time permits. Emerald.
Yes, there is time. That's time.
Okay. Emerald Insight is the database which I am accessing. So this is a database we have access to. I am searching for one article on digital libraries. Digital libraries. So it has given me the article. Whereas if I click on PDF of this article, I get access. If I don't have access, I can show you that. Okay, this also have access. I'm searching for cost-benefit analysis and seeing if any non-access articles available
no
here.
questions. This is.
So flame retardant, cellulosic, textile. This is a plastics article. Let's see if I have access. I have access to this also. For example, if I don't have access to this, I can always go to DOI here. So I can go to DOI, document object identifier. I copy here and I go to Sci-Hub. You're able to see this, madam?
Yes, yes.
I search for this. I'll just input the total DOI. It will give me the full text access without any. She's Elbakia, Alexandra Elbakian. So this article will be downloaded for you free of cost. Any article in the world can be downloaded using this. And she is making a request for everybody to sponsor for this project. That's why she is waving hand towards you. So this is the article which can be downloaded without any cost. So any teacher, any student, any research scholar, any librarian can use this for the lawful activities, for the benefit of the commercial, not academic use, or a research purpose, non-profit research purpose. You can use this. Please make a note of this, and this is going to be very useful for everybody. Sci-Hub DW. If she is in Taiwan, it says TW. If she is in Hong Kong, HW, HK. So she is on a running. Every librarian will be knowing this. You can check with your librarians to find out more information on this. So I'm coming back to my presentation. So I'll just, in a given less time, I just want you to show Google. Probably in next 10 minutes, I'll close the session. So this is Google, madam. All of you know, all of us know what is Google is. So I search for chemistry. So I get information. Are you able to see the screen, madam?
Yes, yes. Yes, sir.
If I search for chemistry, I'll get 190 crores of results, and I don't have time and age to look at all the results here. So what I want to see is, I want only one source on chemistry, or chemistry definition, or chemical engineering is the one source I want to see using this. So I'll get a lot of results. If I don't want to get a lot of results, and if I want to get only one result, I'm sure nobody would have explored this opportunity. We have clicked on this, this, we all search here. But if I click on, I'm feeling lucky, it will give you only one result. It will give you only one result, best result. So if you don't, you have less time in Google, and if you don't want to, lost yourself, if you don't want to lose yourself in the, number of information sources, if you want to get only one source, this is the best place for you to. Chemical engineering, encyclopedia, Wikipedia article is the best. If I click on, I'm feeling lucky, you will get only one source, only one source. But if you click on Google search, you will get multiple sources. That's the advantage of Google. Then advanced search in Google, I'll show you how to do that. If I go here and click on advanced search, it will say click all these words or any other words. I say again chemical engineering. So if I don't know the engineering meaning, I can truncate it always. I can use star to pull all the other things here. So I say how many numbers I want, or I want only in English. I don't want any other language other than English. So I can select only English language here in advanced search. So I don't want any region. I want only Indian region or Canadian region of chemical engineering. I don't want anything else. I can give this, select this. Site or domain, we all know .com, .jpg, .ac, .in, .edu, these kind of websites are commercial websites, all that. I say .com, or you can leave it blank if you want general search. And this chemical engineering word, where you want to see, you can see in title only, or you can see in the text of that, or URL of that. I select only give me title, because 19 crores results, 190 crores results, I may not be able to see. Then file format, I can say PDF, PostScript, Word, Excel. I'm leaving blank. Any format is okay for me. I just click on search. See, when I searched for, chemical engineering general search, it has yielded me 190 crore results. But now it has given me only 89 results. Very specific, very focused. Whatever results I want, I can get it done using this one. But here, there is other advantage here. I can select time also here, date also. Past 1 year, past 24 hours, past month, or you can select the custom range. You can select 1st December 2016 to today. You can select, you can say 1st December 2000, 1st May 2019 to today. So I can say today is 1/6. It's an American style. Month comes first, then come 2020. So I search this. I got 89, and there is no results found for chemical engineering in English language in Canada for the last 1 year, from May 2001 to today. So this is the advantage of searches can be done using this. So all results, or you can see relevance results. Most of the times it shows relevance of results. This is what search engine efficiency is all about. So coming back to my presentation. So are you able to see this, madam?
We can see on, yes.
So then I'm many other, this is a, that's the biggest, toughest aspect of any PhD. This is a paper, for example, Paper Digest is one website where if you download an article and run it here, it will give you only abstract of this or a summary of this whole article. You run the article, it will give you the summary of the article within minutes, so that it will help you to understand the article better. Of course, you have to write your own review, but this is a place which will help you to find that here. There are many, Resumer is one space, Scholarly is one place, Scholarcy is one place, and it gives, abstract like this. This is a full text, this is abstract, which is text reduces 70% reduction from 100 page, 100 article, 100 words to 300 words, the article will get reduced. So this is what the advantage. Summary is another website. I'm sharing this, PPT. You can always use it. So there are many other summaries, summarizing, auto summarizer, summary generator, online proofreading services, split brain summary model, summarize board, essay revision, all that websites you can get the summaries. There are many other websites which are useful, Google Alerts. One website I can give you, Google Alerts, because so you are an expert in one area and you want to get, you don't have time to search the internet every day. So, or you can't do. So you can set an alert. So what it does is, whenever a new information comes onto internet, it will be sending a mail to you saying that, look, this is a new information. I can create an alert on, say, open access. So I can create an alert, and with options I can say what, once in a day, automatic sources, English language, and I want only India or any other region, and any best results, all that you can select and create alert by giving your email ID. So every time a new information comes onto internet, it will be posted to you on, this is how you keep yourself updated on, the latest happening in your area of research or in an area of teaching. For example, if somebody is working on some area, they may not have time to search every day. So they can set alert, every day the results will come to you and you can access this for your benefit of your research. That's the advantage of this. So this is what search is. I'm just skipping for your benefit. There are many searches available in Google. Basic search we have done. Boolean search I'll show you, and proximity search. Proximity means Boolean means and or not is the Boolean logic used between the keywords for you to better search. or proximity search is near, with, all that, excluding, including kind of things. Advanced search we have seen in Google, and within the results you can refine the search for your benefit. Google search, Boolean logic was given by George Boole in the year 1832. This is how it works. If I use and, it will intersect both and give me only this information. If I say stocks and bonds, these are giant words, so it will look for stocks and as well as bonds, but it will give you only intersection of stocks and bonds for you. So that's the keywords you can use for your benefit. If I use or, it will give both stocks and bonds separately together. The more results will be coming for you. Not is, I want bonds, not stocks. So it will search both bonds and stocks, but it gives only bonds information, not stocks information. So this is what it is, and we have done Google search also for your benefit. I have only 58 slides, but in the interest of time, I have shown you. I'm feeling lucky. Google keyword search, advanced search, and other searches we have shown. There are keyword searches, proximity search, refine your search, business search. I don't think anybody needs business search, because when you are doing patenting search, all those things, it's helpful for competitive search. For example, your college with the competition with the other college, you can do a search, or infringement search is more of a patents and legal language. I'm skipping that for the interest of time. So these are all the search strategies you can create, how search strategies can be created. So you can search using title, author, keyword, URL, command, site, or file type search. I've given you that, definition search, all that. So this is, I thought, very important for you to show. If you want to search, most of us, if you don't get our results, we'll close that and move on. So that we should not. We should always focus on the problem at hand and search for the information. And you have to have a liking for the searching job. And if you want to search, you should have a strong hold on the particular subjects and particular domain to search better. Control of vocabulary and language is very important for you to better search. And knowledge of surrogates of information, sources of information, what sources you would get where, computer knowledge, and both Boolean and proximity and search techniques you should be aware of. And content and context driven. There are a lot of content will come, but generating the context out of it is very important. Whereas generating a meaning out of it is very important. And once you generate a meaning out of it, you have to, as a librarian, I'm telling, you have to formulate the insight and pass it on to the people whom you are looking at. So I am concluding my search, concluding my talk. So resources are very important for anybody to know, and not only knowing resources and searching them in a better manner for the focus search, because we should always have a focus in mind for what information I'm looking for, and you have to exactly get what you are looking for. And it is possible for you to get exact information in internet if you properly search the database in internet in the way which I have just demonstrated for you. This is very short time, probably we need 1 day, workshop for these kind of things to completely to the organizers, the principal of Government First Aid College, Madam, and all the Manjunath, the librarian, and all the participants for patiently listening, and the organizers for giving me this opportunity. I rather have taken almost 1.5 hours for this lecture with a 5 minutes glitches in between. So thanks a lot. Here is my email ID and my number. So if anybody have further questions, and I'll try to answer all the questions whichever has come during the presentation time, and I'll be happy to answer my question. Thanks a lot. Over to you, madam.
Yes, sir, it had been a very, very exhaustive lecture. It was simply marvelous.
Thank you.
Surprising thing is that we haven't received any questions at all, which means that you have not given any provision, any chance for the participants to ask questions. It was so clear and so comprehensive that even though they had any question, in the very next slide, you would have answered their doubts. Hence, I was just waiting, and one participant sent a message saying that let us not have any interaction. Give more time to Sir so that he would tell whatever he wants to share with us. So thank you so much, Sir.
Thank you.
They always say that gaining knowledge is the first step to wisdom. Sharing it is the first step to humanity. And Sir, we run short of words for the knowledge, exhaustive knowledge, which is very, very essential for the teachers that you have shared it today. And though they say that information is available at the tip of our fingers, we did not know how much of information is there. And you started your talk with the iceberg image. And we know only little, we only knew the tip. And today you have, along with the participants, everyone, you have dived down deep into the ocean of knowledge and has explored it and has helped us, enlightened us, enriched us today with such an exhaustive knowledge. Thank you. Thank you so much, Sir. Thank you. I also kindly share your PPT. There is a lot of demand from all the participants that they need the PPT so that it would be useful for them in their research work and also to assist their students when they advise them to go ahead with project works or seminars or research work. I take this opportunity to thank all the participants who remained glued to this online webinar today. Usually sometimes, but it has never happened with us the day we have started this webinar. Today, especially, all of them were so eager, curious to know what is it that we can learn in this COVID-19 era, and the topic itself was so interesting. So thank you, participants. I also extend my heartfelt thanks to the principal of Government First Grade College, Hoskote, Dr. Muni Narayanappa, who has really enlightened and enriched so many participants by creating a platform like this, where we have covered the most important foundation of the society, that is economy. Topics on economy were discussed, topics on education were discussed, and topics on health were also discussed. So thank you, Sir. Thank you for this platform. Dear participants, today is the 6th day and one more day to go ahead. I'm sure all of you are going to miss this knowledge enrichment program. A lot of churning of ideas have taken place. So thank you. Thank you so much. Stay connected with us. Stay safe at home and stay blessed always. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.